afternoon. Can you believe it's afternoon already? Keep this in mind, brought to you by SpectHealth.com. And I am David Specht. And yes, I'm on the earbuds and such today because this is a traveling show. And I'm in Louisiana visiting some of our people here. And I've been just kind of having some great conversations with some of the folks. We have some new folks on the team and getting to know them. And as I was getting ready for this trip, I kept remembering about going to a hometown and in the days of Jesus and the reception that he got in his hometown. And while this is not a correlation to a reception that I've gotten, I do understand some of the feelings and some of the comparisons that can be drawn, especially if you're somebody who has left your hometown and maybe has returned or considering the world at large beyond your hometown. And so while this is not a Bible study per se, it is a reflection of a story in the Bible. And we're gonna read this together really quickly. Let me move some things out of the way. It says, when Jesus had finished, he was in his hometown of Nazareth. He said he withdrew from that place. Coming to his hometown, he taught the people in their synagogue, and they were astonished. Where did this man get such wisdom and miraculous powers? They asked. Isn't he the carpenter's son? Isn't his mother's name Mary? And aren't his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? Aren't all his sisters with us as well? Where did this man get all of these things? And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, only in his hometown and only in his household is a prophet without honor. And he did not do many miracles there because of their unbelief. Now, again, I'm not drawing a direct comparison here, okay? So those of you in my hometown of Minden, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is this. Sometimes you experience things in your life, you have familiarities in your life that sometimes affects people's perception of you. Maybe you grew up in a certain town and you acted like a knucklehead in your teens, and now you've matured beyond that, but for some reason everybody in your town still thinks of you as that kid, right? You're perpetually a teenager in their eyes. Or maybe here's another one, that you have experienced some things in this life that really has opened your eyes to a bigger world out there, a bigger ability, a bigger thing. And you try to share it back within your old circles, and they don't get it. They don't understand it. You see, it's not necessarily a place, but a line of thinking. You know, the story that I read was out of Mark, but there's an account in Luke where it said that the crowd got so offended that they wanted to throw Jesus off a cliff. Think about that. They were so offended they wanted to, and he escaped by just walking through the crowd. You know, Son of God, all those things. But can I tell you that not everybody's going to get where you are, and you may outgrow some of the circles you're in. You may outgrow the line of thinking of some of the circles that you're in. You may outgrow the line of thinking in the industry that you're in. You know, you may be in a teaching profession and you embraced Zoom meetings long before COVID hit, but nobody wanted to hear about it. Or maybe you were in the corporate setting and you embraced the work at home concept long before COVID happened, but nobody would take you up on it. And then all of a sudden the world shifted and now it's okay. I say all that because sometimes we have to acknowledge the fact that some people just aren't going to get where we're coming from. Some people just aren't going to understand the path we've chosen or the direction we've taken. Some people are going to perpetually see you as the fat kid, or in my new case, in my new hometown, they see me as Dave of today, and they have no idea what led me to 54 years of the 54-year version of David. They see me as me now, and they have no idea what I went through to get to be me now. Again, it's on both ends of the spectrum. It's not a geographic hometown Nazareth syndrome. It is a Nazareth syndrome of thought. And the reason I bring this up today out of all days is because there are some things going on in our world that we are either going to accelerate through or it's going to hold us back. There's going to be opportunities, tools, advantages that we can embrace that will help us, or we hold ourselves back and be left behind. And it's everywhere from technology to communication to how we do things. And I have seen so many times people not being open to the possibility that something might work, that they just completely close off and they miss the opportunity. In 2008 and 2009, I began a almost a crusade to help people in the leadership and personal development space in my hometown, my home state, and it fell on deaf ears. As I progressed through 2010, 2011, 2012, I ramped it up. We even started a business publication, and part of that business publication's mission was to educate the local market on new trends in business leadership. Started a podcast, did all of these things, but people were so closed off to the idea that they either ignored it or they flat out rejected it. Now, fast forward to today, a lot of those things that happened 10 years ago are mainstream today because some people embraced it. So as I'm wrapping this thing up, and I know I'm going a little off everywhere, but I want to say to the innovators out there, be of good cheer. Jesus, the ultimate innovator, was rejected in his hometown. Again, not saying I'm rejected. Don't take that from this. But people aren't always going to get where you're headed, and that's okay. Head there anyway. The world needs you to show up and move forward to being the best version of yourself and impacting as many lives as possible. You have greatness within inside of you. And if you will embrace that greatness, you can do great things in this world. And then when they catch up, maybe, just maybe, they'll appreciate the fact that you went to bat and that you stayed the course and that you dared to be different than everybody else. God bless.